Today, I want to kick off this podcast with explaining what's behind the Coach by God entrepreneur and how it originated. It is not as common as the Christian entrepreneur, kingdom-driven entrepreneur, or even a purpose-driven entrepreneur. And perhaps you've never even heard the phrase Coach by God entrepreneur. But I believe it's about to become a movement. And in today's episode, I break it all down. Hey, Coach. Welcome back to the Coach by God Entrepreneur Show. I'm 𝗙𝗫𝗀𝗀𝗃, self-proclaimed mama bear of the coaching industry, certified professional coach, mentor, consultant, tech trainer, and a faith-fueled business maven with a knack for turning chaos into gold. If you are ready to leverage your hard-earned coaching certification, get clarity, create ripples in the marketplace, build a business that glorifies God, and make money, this podcast is for you. You can find out more and connect with me over at 𝗙𝗫𝗀𝗃.coach. Ready to dig into today's show? Get ready for a dash of sass, a sprinkle of wit, a dose of wisdom, and a whole lot of no-nonsense strategies that will transform your life and your business. Let's go. Hey, Coach. Welcome back. In today's episode, I will break down the phrase Coach by God, explain how and what it looks like to be coached by God, and share 3 biblical character references of being coached by God. So first, let's break down the phrase coached by God. This part suggests that you, the coach, receive your guidance from God, His Word, and you want to do life and business being metaphorically coached by God. You believe that your business and your entrepreneurial journey has been guided by God, and you attribute your success to your calling and your purpose. And entrepreneur, we all know what an entrepreneur is, but I'll break it down again. An entrepreneur is someone who starts and manages a business or takes financial risks to achieve financial success. So this part of the phrase is pretty straightforward, and it does refer to us who are involved in business activities that reflect biblical principles. Now, God gave me the phrase coached by God back in 2011 when I was going through a horrific divorce. And at that time, I fell completely in love with Jesus. I also started to pen my book, Coached by God, The Power of Wisdom. Now, before you race over to Amazon, I want to let you know that I paused the book temporarily, and it should become available again, hopefully in the near future. Why did I pause it? Because I am always being coached by God. And I have learned the very hard way to do what He says when He says it. So I want to also say that this is not my first rodeo at doing business. In fact, I've been an entrepreneur for almost 30 years and a coach for 13. So I do have some skin in the game, and I do often go against the grain. As I have shared in the past, I am very passionate about the coaching industry, and it really does sadden me how watered down the coaching industry has become due to social media. Now, this is the reason behind my proclamation that I am the mama bear of the coaching industry. And to be honest, it infuriates me, especially with the bro marketing and false claims of revenue. So I've dedicated my business coaching practice to flooding the marketplace with as many certified coaches as the Lord brings my way. Okay, so getting back to the title of the podcast and bro marketing and false claims of revenue, could you, for just 1 minute, imagine Jesus walking around for 3 years proclaiming, "Today I've saved 3,000 souls and fed 500 people. And my disciples saved 3,000 souls today. Comment pound soul saved if you want to know how I did it." Okay, so I did warn you that some of these episodes will include a dash of sass, right? So yeah, that was a little sassy. But that's just an example of how crazy the social media frenzy has become. Having to comment to get an answer or to get something that somebody's promising, it I don't know, it just doesn't resonate with me. I kind of just really dislike it, and I don't know if you feel the same way. But anyway, let me break down the 7 steps of how to be coached by God. To be coached by God in life and in business means to really have that deep personal connection with your faith. You believe that God plays an active role in providing that guidance, wisdom, and direction in your personal life and in your entrepreneurial endeavors. So grab a pen and paper and jot down these 7 principles of what it looks like to be coached by God. Number 1, divine timing. Being coached by God involves trust in divine timing. It means understanding that there is a right time for every decision and endeavor, right? The Bible tells us that there is a season for everything. Entrepreneurs who feel coached by God, they believe in their hearts that God has orchestrated the timing of events, the opportunities, the relationships in their lives, and the calling for business, right? They seek to align themselves with his schedule. Now, this is, for me, one of the most difficult things to do. Number 2, surrender and trust. This entails a willingness to surrender our own plans and desires to God's will. So coached by Godders, if that is even a word, recognize that we might not always understand the bigger picture, but trust that God's guidance is ultimately for our good and for the good of those he's called us to serve. Number 3, spiritual discernment. Also another difficult one for me sometimes. To be coached by God requires the ability to discern God's voice or guidance amidst the noise of everyday life and business challenges. This discernment often comes through prayer, meditation, studying the Word, and that sense of inner peace and conviction. So in order to experience spiritual discernment, we really need to be spending daily time with the Lord. Number 4, faith in adversity. This is also a tough one, right? Those who are coached by God draw strength from their faith when they're facing that adversity, right? We believe that God can use these challenges and setbacks for our personal and our spiritual growth, especially when some of the circumstances seem really discouraging. For example, you're not getting clients, nobody's engaging on your posts, nobody's responding to your emails. That can really get discouraging. Number 5, accountability. Now, as coaches, we should be really good with accountability, but coached by Godders see themselves as accountable not only to themselves, but also to the Lord, right? We're going to aim to conduct ourselves with extra integrity, and we're going to align our actions with our faith-based values. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how accountable are you to yourself and to the Lord? Number 6, continuous learning. Being coached by God does entail a commitment to continuous learning and growth, right? And this is both personally, spiritually, and in our businesses. As entrepreneurs, we have to have that mindset where we really do seek and want to deepen our understanding of not just our faith, but how it applies to our business practices. And finally, number 7, gratitude and humility. Now, this can be a tough one for some of us. Coached by God individuals often will cultivate a sense of gratitude for the opportunities and blessings they receive. It's right at the top of their mind, right? It's not a delayed response in gratitude. And they will approach their success with humility, recognizing that they are part of a larger plan, right? Now, one of the things that you will see in the online space is a lot of coaches, claiming their 6 and 7 figures, and that's okay. If they have the conscience, the clear conscience to do that, that's wonderful. I have not received that from the Lord, so I do not spend any time talking about the financial gains, right? I have a more humble approach. To me, if we're in business, it's a no-brainer that we are in business to not only make an impact, but to also make money. All right. So those are the 7 principles of what it looks like and how to be coached by God. I'm going to finish up with 3 biblical examples of being coached by God because I want you to understand that I didn't just pull this out of the sky, right? The Lord has given this to me and I want to share it with you. So, biblical example number 1 is Joseph, right? We all know Joseph. He's the son of Jacob. He experienced a lot of guidance throughout his entire life. His ability to interpret dreams not only saved Egypt from famine, but it also positioned him as a wise and prudent manager during times of abundance and scarcity. His reliance on God's interpretation of dreams showcased God's guidance in his personal life and his business acumen as an administrator in Egypt. Number 2, Deborah. Deborah, as you know, is a prophetess and a judge in Israel. She exhibited a very strong connection to God. She played a pivotal role in guiding her people and providing judgments under the direction of God. Her leadership, wisdom, and discernment demonstrated being coached by God in matters of governance and decision-making. And finally, number 3, King Solomon. We all love King Solomon. He is known for his incredible wisdom. He sought and received God's guidance. His request for wisdom to govern his people was granted, leading to a prosperous and a very just reign. Solomon's application of this divine wisdom in his rule over Israel exemplifies being coached by God also in matters of leadership and governance. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Coached by God Entrepreneur. If this blessed you, please hit the subscribe button and leave me a review. I would be truly blessed if you shared this podcast with another coach. And remember, success in coaching is not just about what you achieve, but who you become in the process. Tune in for more insights and actionable strategies in my upcoming episodes. Stay connected, stay inspired, and let God lead the way to your coaching greatness.